Hi everybody. So in today's video there we go, we are mounting the rear spar to the wing, right wing. So there you just saw me finishing up a little bit of dimpling that I had previously. I'd missed a couple holes at the end, which isn't like me, but I did. So everything is primed and ready to go. There will be some riveting. So with the rear spar, you rivet in this specific order. So the first thing you do is you do all the riveting that it shows, and there's a figure for it, and it's all the very top stuff. It's the you basically, so you cleco everything in place to do your final and match drilling, and then you take everything out, you clean all the chips off, you do all the deburring of all the holes, which is something that you're seeing me do here to the ribs real quick before the riveting gets done. You cleco everything back up into place exactly as you had it, only at this point everything should be dimpled and everything should be ready to go and primed. And then you simply rivet. So a lot of these, like I said in the previous video, all the ribs have 4 number 30 holes. A couple of them are modified because of the doubler on the inboard side of the wing that you have to drill, but that's a whole separate topic. Anyway, each of them have 4, and for most of them, you won't be riveting one of them because that is the hole connection where the gap seal goes. Oh, pardon me. So the gap seals, there's gap seals for the wing, and you don't put those on until you're actually doing the bottom skins. But you just want to avoid riveting that, because God forbid if you did wind up riveting that and then you put the top skins on, then you would have to drill them all out, which is a big pain in the ass. The method that I used is I used my Longeron yoke for my rivet squeezer, and I was able to get pretty much like 95% of all the rivets that I'm doing here. Now you need to be very careful because there's an area of the doublers. So there's 2 doublers that go on the inboard side. One is the main doubler for the spar. It's pretty long. It's forked, and I talked about that in the last video. And then there's a small doubler that goes on the very inboard side. That's actually going to wind up being an attach point for the wing to the fuselage. So that attach point has 4 rows in it, 6 rivets each row. Or 6 holes each row, sorry. 2 of the rows will have dome head rivets placed on them, and it doesn't matter which side you do, which side the shop head's on. Oh, pardon me, I don't know why I'm yawning so much. So the top 2 rows will have rivets, like I said. The bottom row underneath that will be drilled to accept a dimpled skin, or dimpled something. And then the row underneath that is actually going to be flush riveted with 426 size 4 rivets. There's my little assistant Chloe, our mechanic's daughter. She's out for the summer, and she just loves to sweep. I do love me some free child labor. Yeah, I said it. Hell, growing up, my nickname was Gulch. You know the old expression about shit rolls downhill? Well, ain't nothing lower than a gulch. So, anytime anything had to be done, guess who had to do it? Gulch. Get the bags, sweep the driveway, take out the garbage, you name it. And now that I've grown up, I've found that we can't actually have children do labor. Who knows? Most of the civilized world was built with child labor, okay, folks? I'm not saying I endorse it, I'm just saying I understand it. before your hate mail begins. I'm just kidding. Anyway, so yeah, um, most of those ribs, like I said, those once you get in to where I'm working in right now, that's pretty easy because it's all number 6 size dome head rivets for most of the doubler. The only place it gets interesting is when you start doing uh, the place where there's 2 doublers, and I actually ran out. Thankfully, I had some spares. So those are AN470, or they're dome heads, size 4, but the length is like 8s to 9s. And they send you a very small bag of those. And the thing is, with the club, I'm always giving our mechanic access to all the stuff that I have for the plane. You know, he needs to find some rivets to make something work on the plane. I have no problem just letting him rummage through, just as long as he tells me what exactly it is that he's used so that I can order spares. Uh, and Vans is very good at giving you spares because, you know, no one's perfect, especially me. But it is nice to have some spares. So I actually was able to do it with one rivet left in my bag, so worked out really well. And just remember, folks, if you're doing all this, if you're doing something like this, use the rivets that they tell you to use. Sometimes, however, when you insert those rivets, you'll notice that, you know, it's a little, these happen to be a little bit too long, or maybe these aren't long enough. And that's no one's fault, right? The design is the design. If you put those rivets in and they're just a little bit too long, you'll probably be okay. You're not going to hurt anything. If they're too short, however, they might not get enough grip. So a little bit long is okay as long as they're riveted correctly, but a little bit too short and you could be in a lot of trouble. Anyway, now that the rear spar is on and everything is good, we're actually going to start working on the front skins. So I will see you soon.